Well, first of all, hello to the audience in Taipei, and thank you very much for inviting this film to your festival. I'm very glad that there is interest for this subject in Taiwan. Actually, I started the research for this film in Asia, in Vietnam, and on a trip to Saigon, I found out that Artemisia annua, the malaria herb, was actually used in China and Vietnam for centuries to treat malaria, and it played a role in the Vietnam War, where it was said that the Vietnamese won the war because they had this herb, and the Americans had a malaria medicine that chloroquine, which was already not functioning at the time. That was my initial subject. But when I started research in East Africa, and I realized that between 500,000 and 800,000 people die each year from malaria in sub-Saharan Africa, my team and we decided that this is such a pressing subject and is so invisible and all over the world, basically unknown, that we need to change the focus. So then we went to East Africa and researched there, and we decided to make a film where the African people who live with malaria and deal with malaria can speak about these subjects by themselves, and we made a film about Africa. Because it is such a complex subject, we a lot of time went into the research phase. We did a lot of traveling in Asia, China, Thailand, East Africa, and the USA, and also some research in England, and we needed to make sure that our science is right, because we make a lot of very critical statements, and we had to make sure that we had spoken to all of the relevant malaria researchers in the world, which we did. But then came the decision where we said, okay, no Western scientists in this film, because Africans need to speak for themselves. And I think that was a very radical, you know, it's a logic decision we made, but our funders and producers did not agree. And for example, the Swiss and the German public TV stations who co-sponsored our film refused to air it, because they said that the journalistic approach is not correct, and a company like Novartis will sue us, and the way we are critical with the Gates Foundation was also not welcomed. So we ran into a lot of trouble with this film, and I think it's a sign that the international documentary world needs to include these voices. Black lives do matter. I think it's maybe with this new movement, things will change. I think too many documentaries rely on viewpoints from the global north, and we need to start as a whole community to listen to the global south and what these people have to say. I think it's important that we now realize what it feels like to be so exposed and so vulnerable. So I think it's an important lesson for Europe, for Taiwan, for the rest of the world. And another thing I think is especially for Taiwan interesting is that the traditional herbal medicine that we were researching for this film is so present in Taiwan, as far as I have heard, and that there is actually a parallel treatment of traditional medicine and the pharmaceutical approach. I think it's a very valuable knowledge that you have, and maybe this pandemic will also teach you that there is some interesting hidden treasures there, and that I hope the Taiwanese society will not give up, even when the pressures from international capitalism is very strong. So maybe the film inspires you to continue on that way. Thank you.